Welcome to Finding the Word. It's Melanie Brown. I'm back at home. It almost feels strange. I've been gone for like several days, and the last 4 words O and I did together, which was really special. I enjoyed having him, and he'll be back. Today's word is ears. I actually had a different word, but we had a shift to things when we got back. And what happened to turn it to ears is once we literally hit the driveway, I heard from a dear old friend from 1993 when I was 21. I have several dear old friends from 30 and 40 years ago. I feel very blessed to say that. They are wonderful. She was in town. Her husband had surprised her with a trip to Jacksonville for the Jazz Festival. And so she was inviting O and I to join her and her husband with some of their fun for the day. And so we, of course, had such a great time. And just we're coming back. And so we got to add one more day on to our fun. We went to the beach with them, and then we went to the Jazz Festival, just had a great day. And this is where ears came in, because we were listening to jazz. It was wonderful, like wonderful artists that were performed, and we had a great time. But the artist that we were listening to, the one that was coming after, was not someone that I normally listen to. They have a song or so that I like, but it's questionable as to what they represent, the things that they stand for. She was explaining to me that this particular video this artist put out had gone too far. And she's like, I'm pretty liberal. And that's where she's at in her life. She's like, I consider myself to be a liberal person. Like, I'm pretty loose, and I can't handle. This was way too much for me. And it had a demonic feel, she mentioned. So I said, a demonic feel? So she's like, yeah, it's really dark. It's just rough. So I was like, okay. Now, prior to, I'd have been like, maybe, or just been like, well, that's kind of messed up. I don't know, like, And I don't know if I would have just stayed or not. But what's interesting to me, at least what I'm noting, is due to the fact that I am in the Word, given this word for the last 2 months consistently every day, it has affected my daily choices, what is acceptable to me, what sounds right. I'm becoming more sensitive. I had not realized it until it was kind of like, I won't be. It wasn't even a hesitation about it. It was kind of like demonic and darkness and to the point you can't even watch. Like, what are we doing? It's like there is support to me when you sit through and are listening to certain things, spiritually speaking. I think that when you are in the world to a certain degree, most things seem like no big deal. And I feel like I was experiencing that. There's things I would look at that I'm no longer comfortable. Things you're listening to that you can no longer become comfortable. But as you are taking in the word, this is to me what happens. You're more sensitive to it. So that's where ears came, because I felt like I need to be paying attention to what's going in my ears. I can't just be listening to everything. These are avenues. These are things that we need to be guarding. So the scripture that I have for ears is Proverbs 20:12, and it's ears to hear and eyes to see. Both are gifts from the Lord. And gifts from the Lord, we cannot just take lightly. So it turned out we were leaving anyways. It had gotten late. So I was like, that's fine. I would not have sat through it even still. And I feel comfortable with that now. There might have been a time that I felt like, well, I'm going to have to sit here. We came together. I probably have to deal with it. I would have gotten up and left. There's been a lot of information coming out lately, a lot of things that we're hearing and understanding a little differently with the music industry. We're seeing more blatant, bold evil and agenda that is not lining up with what would be acceptable for anybody who's considering themselves to be a follower of Christ. And we have to be mindful of that. And so it's hitting different. Like when you see artists saying certain things, and you're hearing it, you're kind of starting to make you go, wait a minute now, what they say? What is that? Because you just feel like you have to be aware and need to be staying very diligent about what we're supporting and what we're listening to. There's a second scripture, and I haven't had 2 scriptures in a while, but I really thought that this was such a good one. So the ears and hearing, I was going between those 2 words. And so this next passage, Mark 4:24, is, then he added, and this is speaking of Jesus, pay close attention to what you hear. The closer you listen, the more understanding you will be given, and you will receive even more. To those who listen to my teaching, more understanding will be given. But for those who are not listening, even what little understanding they have will be taken away from them. This is serious to me. I don't feel like I have a huge amount of understanding. This is a shift. This is a change. I'm just admit to watching and dealing with all manner of things that now I'm kind of like, oh, I don't have no business. Because as you're moving closer to the things that God's asking you to do, as you realize that you have purpose to jobs that he's asking you to do in your life, you realize, like, I got to get it together. I can't just be asking the Lord's help and at the same time filling my mind with all kind of foolishness. You're trying to stay prayed up about this. You're trying to grow. And growth doesn't work too well with a lot of the foolishness that you were taking in. And it causes you to say, I'll pass. I'll pass on that. You know, I still love that series or that show, but it's not feeling like that. It's helpful to me at this time of my life, and I need to be growing in this area. And the same with the music and things and people that we are supporting. As I'm growing, I'm feeling like I am gaining a more clear understanding. So I'm trying to be careful to be listening so that the little I do have is not taken away and that it can continue to grow. I want to say thank you to John and Sheena for inviting O and I. We had a wonderful day today. We look forward to the next time that we're able to get together again in the future. Don't forget to find the word, and I will see you tomorrow.